Sudeki's got a blend of 4 different characters, and they've all got their own individual looks and their own individual talents and skills which the player has got to utilise to make way through the game.
At the start of Sudeki's development, we had a style that was a lot more cutesy and quite clearly Japanese inspired. The initial look was very geared towards attracting fans of the Japanese style RPG genre as well as Japanese animation fans. We did a lot of focus testing during these early stages, and the results encouraged us to push the boundaries of the style further and try for something a little bit more adventurous.
Ailish plays the part of a princess who is kind of rebellious and really a little bit naive about the whole of the world that she's in and the world that she'll one day grow to rule. Ailish has the power to reveal hidden objects. By going into first person, the player can dispel magical illusions. Tal's gone through a lot of different looks as well. We had to strike a balance between keeping the anime aesthetic and making him the sort of character that most people are going to want to pick up and play. Tal is the swordsman of the group, and for most people we presume that he'll be the character that they most bond with. He's all brawn and no brains. He's classic hero material, a soldier in the Illumina Guard. Tal has many different combos which the player can use to defeat enemies, and he also has the skill of being able to move very heavy objects. Buki's the one character who, right from the very beginning of the game, from the very first concepts, we've always felt that her look has been about right, and so she's changed less than all of the other characters. Buki's an anthropomorph, which means that she's half human and half cat. She comes from a race of animal people. She counteracts Ailish's rather flighty nature by being a very serious and austere girl. She has some of the finest skill effects in the game, I think. Because she fights with the claws, and because of her fighting style, which is naturally very athletic, lots of great big complicated combo moves and flips and jumps and all sorts. Buki's a very athletic character, and as you can see, she uses her claws to climb into inaccessible areas. But eventually, through many different character designs and redesigns, we boil down to this half-robotic Dutch fellow. Elko's the oldest member of the group. He's spec'd out as being 25. He's also the only one that's married in the game. So he's got a very different feel to most of the characters you'd meet in an RPG. His skills are all about his ability to invent. He also has the added advantage of being able to fly with a rocket pack, which is always good fun, and shoot with a variety of deadly first-person weapons. He's obsessed with science and obsessed with the work that he's doing, and part of his story arc is just to get everything in perspective in his life.
Here you can see the behemoth. He's one of our bosses. You can see from the little snapshots the underlying structure of the characters, and then there's the textures on the top, which is like gives it the colour and the life. Here you can see the skeleton of Ailish, one of our lead characters. You can see basically the skeleton is what we apply the animation to. The skeleton affects the mesh, which then is what you actually see in the game.
Working as an animator in a team, you have to make sure that your work fits in with the style of the game.
And here is the same sort of breakdown of one of the Buki's combat moves. So you can see the skeleton working away underneath. Here's Kren, one of our boss monsters. Here is the final intro to the boss as it appears in the game.
This is one of the cutscenes from the game. We don't always have to animate the characters by themselves. In this boss introduction here with Nasaria, we have to animate all the characters in one scene together, just like animating a film basically.
Here you can see Maya, the package we use to animate our characters. You can see the basic skeleton underneath the mesh, which is what we use to manipulate and create the poses. We work on a kind of keyframe basis, so I'll set a key at 0 and then move to the time I want and set another key pose, so the Maya will then interpolate the gap, and you can control that using curves and stuff.
This is the tool we use to animate the facial expressions of the characters in the game. Sometimes Buki needs to get sad or happy, and this is the tool we will use. Also, this is what we will use to do the lip syncing in the FMAs and in-game animation as well. And here you can see Buki's face being distorted by the phoneme designer, which we use for all our lip sync animation.
Don't.
The story of Sudeki has undergone many changes over the years. There's almost too much to say at the very start of the game, so we came up with the idea of using a shadow puppet play to kind of explain the background to the story. Sudeki itself is the name given to a planet which is created for the god Tetsu. From his own self, he draws a brother, but when he splits himself into two, the character traits of that lie within him are separated also. So there's an evil Tetsu and a good Tetsu. The evil Tetsu takes on the name Haigu. Tetsu manages to get 4 heroes from the world to fight on his behalf and defeat his brother in battle. The storyline itself takes the player on a journey through 3 different worlds in which you meet a variety of characters, and the idea is that the player is always searching for the truth but is never quite sure who to trust and who to believe. Each of the 4 characters in the main story has what you might term like a personality defect or a problem in their lives that at the start they're almost unaware of. But by the end of the story, they have to confront the parts of their character that they need to overcome in order to become rounded people. Ailish, for example, is a very naive person at the start of the game. Tao is a little bit brash and doesn't really think about what he's doing. Elko, on the other hand, thinks too much. And Buki is such a serious girl, she really doesn't know how to enjoy the life that she has. The driving force for the first half of the game is really Elko, the scientist, and his continuing quest to build the crystal machine for his queen Lucica. The machine is designed as what they term a peace shield that protects the castle from all invaders. When the world was split, the portals were shut down for many years, and it's only when our characters begin their adventures that they discover how to open up the portal system again, and this enables them to travel all the way through the known universe of Sudeki.
This is our ruthless spawn. We used bones and particles to create the dust, and dynamics for the rocks. The idea for this ruthless spawn was it spawns from the ground, so it looks like it's being released from hell, and that to work quite closely with the animators to get it in time.
There's a number of different ways in which the polys and particles can interact with each other to combine visual glows. Most of it's additive. There's also a few occasions where we use subtractive passes. Effectively what it means is that the particles are overlaid one on top of the other. They combine the values together to make a bright centre. The texture then becomes particles and they're looking like they're all merged into one as opposed to lots of facing sprites.
This is a particle system for Ailish Scud Attack, and we basically use sprites which are 2D cubes that always face the camera, and allows us to map textures onto them. Yeah, sometimes the animations look completely empty without effect, and it just wouldn't work without any effects.
I think the wireframes definitely give you a sense of the number of particles and polys that the engine's shifting around at any one time, bearing in mind that a number of effects can be played at any one time.
Basically we was quite free to come up with anything really that we can imagine for effects. We wasn't restricted in any way. We also had to do camera work as well to show the effects off the best way possible.
malfunction. My brain is fine. Less than. Now running at 92%.